see where freedom is alive. Hear his shots ring from the woods. Take off. Life is good. Shoot around and he probably should.
Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from Tennessee again, the beautiful hills of Tennessee. Yes, the home of Alvin York. We can't forget Alvin York. We can forget everybody else, but not Alvin York. So glad you're here again. Another Sunday, shoot around. And yes, it is 9/11, isn't it? September the 11th, significant date. And but we're still here. We're back again. Glad you are here. Yeah, we were a little earlier this week. Got a lot going on this week, this weekend, but I'm here. And I, as usual, I was in the mood to shoot some things, and so I'm going to shoot some things. I wanted to get my Scorpion back out, Evo 3. I recently just received a magazine, a little drum magazine for it. I had to try that out and, you know, just shoot the thing some more. I think last week I mentioned that I might shoot the old Glock 41 some more, so I'm going to do that. Test that Shield Arms magazine. I got to really shoot something a fair amount before I feel comfortable with packing it. Yeah, because it's one of those firearms that's sometimes in my rotation, right? Defensive rotation is what I'm getting at. So anyway, that's cool. So glad you're here. So. Yeah, I got the Scorpion out, and you know, got my, did I change it out since you've seen it? Got the Aim Point T2 on there, and I guess that's one I bought. I needed another scope. I'm beginning to wonder if I should get away from these red dots and go to either a green dot or a something that I can see a little more clearly. Some of you have recommended, see, what's it called? Prism scope, you know, where the the red dot gets to looking kind of weird for a lot of us, but for combat purposes, it's okay. So anyway, my old CZ Scorpion Evo 3 S1 pistol, it's pretty cool. Again, before I bought it, someone had put on a larger handguard, longer handguard, and so, but yeah, it's pistol with a brace. Okay. So let me go ahead and try this. I just put, I don't know, drum magazines are kind of funky. There's a reason you don't see many people using them. You know, I mean, they look so cool and they hold a lot of rounds, but they're a little bit funky to use and load. Awkward, heavy. Well, that's not too bad. That's, let's see, what is it? It's a Magpul. It's not all that big. I think it holds 50. But, you know, you can switch out a couple of mags or something just as well. So let me see if it works. Okay, see if I load it correctly. All right. See if it works. Well, maybe it works. I just put about 15 rounds in it. Cool. So, I've got one for what, an AK, I guess. It's really a weird operation loading that thing. And then you just hope it's reliable. And again, there's a reason you don't see in footage in Vietnam, whatever, of everybody running through the jungle with their AK and everybody with a big drum mag on them, that kind of thing, or ARs if they're available. You know, I don't know what would you say is the main advantage of one of those. Yeah, I know a lot of rounds, but maybe if you're in one place, especially kind of an outpost or something, and your firearm might need to serve as a machine gun or something with lots of rounds before you have to reload it. But I don't know. A lot of them I don't know that are as reliable as a stick magazine. And for example, you got a couple of 30-round mags versus a 60-round drum of some sort. How long does it take to reload? And a drum is kind of an awkward, larger, a heavier item, and to pack it or pack extras. And there's a reason that the people are not beating the bushes for them. But yeah, they have a place. They're kind of interesting. I just, as a lark, thought I'd order one, especially since it wasn't a larger, you know. So, you know, 50 is not too bad. But then again, a couple of mags, you know, it's just equivalent of a couple of mags, and I'd rather have a couple of mags, I think. So, but I thought I'd try it out and get it. So, I mean, most of the firearms that we shoot, we purchase, we take to the range. There's a reason we call them range toys. Oh, I know, serious people hate to hear that. Toys. A firearm is not a toy. You're spreading misinformation. You're a bad influence when you say that. Well, yeah, right. Yeah. Don't take life so seriously, dude. But I still like this Scorpion. It's pretty cool. Hadn't bitten me yet, right? You gotta watch scorpions. But yeah, I think it's reliable, no doubt about it. Again, watch for scammers. All right, you see them. They end up on all so many videos that you look at in the description box. Gun videos, other videos. Telegram, text somebody at Telegram or WhatsApp or some other place. I saw a new one this week. Was it some place not Wicker, it was some other place to contact people. You know, it's the same old thing. You've won something. You know? So don't be gullible. Don't be dumb. Please don't be dumb. So yeah, 2011. It's you know, the anniversary. Let's see, what is it? The 21st anniversary, right? Yeah, of 9/11. So strange day, makes you wonder. Remember where you were on that day, doesn't it? And almost all of you that are that old, or maybe a few years older, remember where you were, what you were doing. I was still teaching. Remember being in the classroom that morning, seeing it on the TV. There's a TV in my classroom, and I happened to have a planning period that year, first period, and which I normally don't like, but I did, and I heard something on the radio, caught a piece of something, and then I got up and turned that TV on. I think we got 2 stations or something. It was mainly for showing films and videos, or one station clearly, but yeah, I saw that going on, and wow, it's crazy. But anyway, a lot of time has passed, and you never know what's going to happen, do you? The worst things, as I've said before, and the best things, quite often are a total surprise to us. Total surprise. And that's one reason they are so good or so bad. They were totally unexpected. We were not watching for it, didn't expect it, and that's one reason it's able to happen. You know, I mean, it does, common sense to some extent, but yeah, many times. That's just the truth of life. Your worst days will be unexpected. That phone call, you know, will come, or your heart stops beating. That'd be a bad day for you, unexpected. Or somebody else's in your family or a friend. You get the phone call, not expecting that at all. No way we would, right? But it happens, you know. And you'll remember those days. So it's like what's the driver's manual say? The most dangerous car on the road is what? The one you did not see, past tense. The one you didn't see, that's the most dangerous car on the road. I always remember that driving. So, what else? I don't know. probably nothing worthwhile, right? uh, the yeah, last week, oh man, I don't know what my brain was. I talked too long, but I was I brought up those examples of the movie problems or missing in movies, with Dirty Harry, and that's why I got off on Dirty Harry too much, I guess. There was one in Breaking Bad. I remember talking about Breaking Bad, but I didn't talk about the gun problem there, did I? the 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 issue in Breaking Bad, because as I mentioned last week, I had watched that whole series again and really enjoyed it. But the gun issue, you probably know where I'm going. I may have talked about this before somewhere, but the little Ruger LCR that Walter bought, from the illegal gun sale, really, in the motel room. uh, it the guy sold him a gun. So here he's Walter White. Now let's see. At that point, I don't guess he has a record of any kind, does he? I mean, he's not now. No, not a felon or anything. So here he is in a motel room buying a firearm. It's New Mexico too. It's not like it's New York City. And he's buying a firearm with the serial number ground off of it. Duh. And of course, this guy that's selling it to him actually seems very knowledgeable about firearms and all this stuff in the law. But and even Walter mentions about it being a felony, the serial number off and all that kind of thing. But he wants without a serial number in case he has to shoot somebody, and then he can leave it there and it won't be traceable. Wow. Yeah, Walter. And the other guy too. Both of them equally dumb. Yeah, except every second you're in possession of that firearm is almost like you've murdered somebody. If you were caught with it, period, with the serial number ground off. Duh. $10,000, 10-year fine, all that kind of stuff, just for being in possession of it. And how about just, and what the guy charging like 5 times what it was worth or something, what the gun would normally be worth or something. How about just, if you're going to go, I mean, it wouldn't even be illegal to find one that is just not traceable to anybody, not necessarily illegal, it's just that who knows where it came from? Maybe, I don't know, a yard sale or something, and if it were traced back to somebody there, who knows? They're living now in Florida somewhere, and nothing to do with whoever you've killed, so they wouldn't even be in trouble. They sold it at a gun show or flea market or somewhere. It's like, duh, just having a firearm with no serial number or one that's been ground off. That's not too far off of having a murder weapon anyway, So anyway, they got that kind of wrong. Duh. I know it adds to the drama, makes it more dramatic and everything. Thing is, boy, people watching that, I get the impression. But the conversations I recall even went in the right direction about talking, about how it's bad to get caught with. That's why you don't want it, But I thought that was pretty bizarre. And I remember the first time I saw that, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. So anyway, I talked about that last week a little bit in Dirty Harry. Isn't it a shame that, like I said, I still haven't finished Dirty Harry, but well, for the 10th time probably in 30 years, 40 years, however long it's been out. But I hadn't seen it in a long time all the way through, so I did pick up on it some. And I talked about that problem with the Model 29 early in the movie. But, when you watch those movies from the 70s and the 80s, and others too, but 70s and 80s especially, maybe 90s, some of them, don't you just long for those good old days? Granted, there's some hokey stuff and some are a little superficial, some of that kind of stuff, but common, overdone themes and some of that maybe, but just lacking the political correctness, I mean, so many times you in a scene there'll be something said or some reference you think couldn't do that today, couldn't do that today, boy, he wouldn't have said that, wow, surprised Netflix even shows that, allows that movie on there. Yeah. So many times. And have people changed that much? Well, some have, but most have not. And people understand, it's a movie. And then too, you've got that element of there's old Dirty Harry movie and other movies where insults are thrown around at various groups of people, whether it's old people like me, or old white people, people of color, or you name it, whatever group, minority or majority or whoever, religion, picking on some group. It's been kind of the way of the world. And most of the time, especially in fiction or in, comedy movies or things like that, it's done in a lighthearted kind of it's literally a joke. It's literally supposed to be funny, And that's the way 99% of the people who watched those old movies, saw it. And hardly anybody probably was offended. Think about Don Rickles. Have you ever seen Don Rickles, his comedy? I mean, I grew up with him, people like him, but Don Rickles especially, I think he's passed on, isn't he? But he made a long career out of his quick wit, but being a comedian and just picking on every group of people. He made fun of everybody. If you have seen him, have seen his act, or seen him anywhere, if you saw him on Carson or whatever, he didn't go 3 sentences without blasting, some group, okay? And he was Jewish, but he would pick on his own people. He'd pick on everybody. And not in a mean way. He'd just point out cultural differences and that sort of thing. And everybody loved him. I'm sure there was somebody who was offended, but not really. Not really. Yeah, you can imagine. That's just Don Rickles. That's just making jokes about people because we all are different. There are characteristics of old guys like me, or old white guys, or old green guys, or whatever color, whatever religion. There's just so much in my lifetime. People pull all this stuff out. Things I wasn't even aware of course, but, whether it's the Jewish grandmother or whoever it is, whatever cultural or ethnicity it is, there are general certain characteristics of groups of people, what makes them a little different, right? But it's cool. It's like Southerners, you got accents and you got all kinds of things. People from different countries who have certain tendencies, maybe they're a little different than other groups of people, other nationalities, other ethnicities, other sexes, other color, people of other different color, people of different religion. I know, you name it, what I'm talking about. There are some common denominators within people. And we all know that. Brilliant deduction, right? But it's only in recent years that's just taboo to even make a joke about, right? In a way, that's kind of weird. Because generally, if there's something that is kind of inappropriate to talk about, we think of that, I think, just instinctively as a negative. It must be a negative if you can't even mention that. If that's taboo to even bring up or make a joke about, when everybody's going to know it's a joke, but you can't say that, then, wow, is that like making fun of somebody who can't speak, or someone who has one leg or something, or someone who's terribly ugly, really ugly, disfigured? Is that like making a joke about someone like that or something? Just because someone's of a different religion or ethnicity or something, or from a part of the regional part of the country that we like to make fun of in a lighthearted way. So, I don't know. Maybe it's better this way, but it's kind of weird. There's so many topics that are just totally off limits, and some of the greatest comics and comedians of my lifetime, they couldn't even go out today and tell jokes, I guess. Anyway, never bothered me. Make fun of me. I don't care. So, But anyway, those old movies, it's refreshing to watch them. It really is. For that reason, nothing else. I don't know, maybe if you're 25 when you watch some of those, you see it differently and you're offended quite often. I don't know. If you're a shooter, a gun person, you're probably not, right? Yeah, it just depends on, I don't know, people have gotten so sensitive. Yeah. I was watching, speaking of Carson this week, I was watching Johnny Carson one night this week. Well, a video popped up on YouTube with him and interviewing Johnny and June Cash. And I said, oh, that's cool. And so I played it, listened to most all of it. And Johnny Carson was great. Oh, man. You just can't appreciate the genius just from what you hear. You need to watch some of his stuff. The way he handled interviews, just great. And Johnny Cash was on. He sang, and then he sat down and they talked. And then June Carter Cash came on, and they sang later. But the conversation with him, and it was just wonderful. And the thing I was going to say, though, about that entire interview and just talking and laughing and joking, there's like no, not that I don't know if anybody said anything that was politically incorrect. It wasn't like a Don Rickles moment or anything that I recall. But you could tell there's no concern about that. Just a freer society, really. A freer exchange, humor. Nobody was worried. It could have said anything that came to mind almost, And I miss those good old days, to tell you the truth. So anyway, we're just too easily offended. I think there are people who get up in the morning looking for a reason to be offended. And guess what? They find it, right? If you're looking for something, newsflash, if you're looking for something like that, you can find it. Just like if you get up in the morning and you spend a fair amount of your day looking for a racist, guess what? You'll find it. You'll find it. You'll manufacture it, right? If you're looking under every rock for an example of somebody being a bigot, guess what? You'll find them everywhere, under every rock, because you can interpret it that way. You can interpret anything that way, right? All right, enough philosophy. So, going to friendship, the black powder sheet, and when I get back, I will tell you how it went, okay? Probably will have met some of you up there in Friendship, Indiana, at the muzzle loading event. Do you mind? I should have brought a muzzle loader out. I'll probably be motivated to do that when I get back, or tomahawks. But 43X. We'll shoot a little more polymer today, though. Okay. All right. The Shield magazine. Still want to make sure it's working. Cleaned it out. I still like the 43X. It's a nice gun. The only issue, I'm a huge advocate of my pocket carry and everything, and I've mastered all the things I need to master, I think, for pocket carry some really good guns and everything, the XLs and the 43X, I will say, it stretches the limit. If it were, let me try it again, remind myself, if that grip were just a tad shorter, it would be better. It's almost too long, almost. I mean, it is just a tad. I can make it work, but it's just a little bit too long. Hence the appeal of the SIG XL, P365 XL. Because it's a little shorter, about just the right amount shorter than this, just the perfect amount shorter. So anyway, but I like that 43X. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. So make sure I'm not forgetting something. I just have a feeling I might be. I guess not. I guess not. You know, speaking of friendship, Indiana, and in the shooting world, not just the black powder world, but people who, well, I don't know, people who really are knowledgeable about firearms of all types and do a little muzzle loading, do a little this and that sort of thing. If you say Friendship, Indiana, they know immediately what you're talking about. But I realize a lot of people don't. But whenever I say Friendship, Indiana, to me that's just the National Muzzle Loading Shoot, okay? I guess it's like Camp Perry or is there some other place, or who knows what else is even in Friendship. And Friendship is a really small little town down in a hollow, okay, very small. And it's a place, I guarantee you, if you've never been there probably, unless you have relatives there, living there, you visited, or you've been to the shoot, okay? It's not just off the interstate. It's not just off a main highway anywhere. You get to Friendship, Indiana because you want to get there and figure out how to get there, okay? In southern Indiana. And it's down in a big hole, basically, which is great for a gigantic muzzle loading event. Okay, I mean their range, the Walter Klein range, is one of their main ranges of the National Muzzle Loading Rifle Association. Okay, kind of their eastern range. They're going out west too. But, so cool place. Still hanging in there. That's been a big event for so long, and so well attended. And you know, people go to camp, you know, for the whole week or two, and there's flea markets involved. You got tents set up, and vendors sell primitive things, cookware and knives and axes, and guns, you know, muzzle loaders, all that sort of thing, leather goods, and it's been big for a long time. A lot of those people, like the gun builders, you know, are dying off. I don't know if they're being replaced, you know, as fast as they're dying off, and some of those vendors there too. I hate to see that. I hope it stays strong. I hope that event can continue. I know there's always an interest in muzzle loading. I think they've included in recent years inline muzzle loaders. They've a class for them. Up until recently, it's strictly traditional. And that's, of course, the main thing. It's traditional muzzle loaders, you know, Hawken rifles, Kentucky rifles, and all the different sorts of things. If somebody even came within 5 miles of there with one of these god-awful inline muzzle loaders that a lot of people hunt with today, they probably, you know, had them banished from the state, you know. But they've acquiesced to an extent, and they've, you know, they don't want to die totally, and they've allowed a class, I think, for that, and which you have to do if you're going to survive. But it's by and large, it's for traditional muzzleloaders. But I'm sure there are people who have an inline muzzleloader, polymer stock, all that kind of stuff, maybe, but they also have a Hawken rifle they enjoy, and they like to shoot that too. So, you know, it's a big tent, you know, shooters, it's a big tent. And so need to be accepting of anybody, basically, if they're in the right spirit, I guess. So, but that's, I hate to see things like that die. You know, I went to, a friend of mine, I drove up to Cloverdale, which is in Indiana as well, the national archery match. It's nationally known. It's like Friendship for archery. I went, I don't know, what's it been, 15 years ago. Huge thing, huge event. I saw Bing Graham there, Hummingbird bows, and I think that's where I ordered my second bow from him. Maybe it's my first bow, I don't know, my long bow. It might have been 20 years, but anyway, he's passed on now. But my buddy and I went up there, I guess it was last summer, and we're kind of looking forward to that. And we got up there, and it just wasn't the same. I mean, it was it was really kind of like Davy Crockett days, down in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Just not the same as it used to be at all. I'm not sure what all the reasons are, but you hate to see that. There are certain events like that you just, whatever else is going on, if it's an area that you're interested in, your hobby, you can always count on maybe taking whatever vacation or saving up the money to go and all that kind of thing, and you're going to go be in your element, and it's a big event, and it's maybe hundreds of people or thousands that have a similar interest. And but it really was a lot smaller. I'm not sure what that was all about. Not that many vendors there or anything. So different. Of course, it'd been maybe 12, 15 years or so between my getting to it. Davy Crockett days, same thing. Seems like it's dying off. And not that it was ever all that big. And I just hope that doesn't happen to some of the key shooting events. Well, like even the NRA meeting, whatever your feelings are about the NRA, it's like the biggest exhibit and event, whoever holds it. It's just great to be able to go somewhere once a year, and virtually every gun manufacturer is there with all their wares, kind of like SHOT Show on a little bit smaller scale. And you can go there and try out all their stuff, look it over. So whoever hosts it, you got to hope that kind of thing just doesn't die off. Wow. I mean, eventually, maybe. Hopefully it's 100 years or 200 years. But anyway, so what do I need to shoot? I'm sorry, I'm not shooting. I'm supposed to be shooting, aren't I? I think I have another mag loader or two. Yeah, I do. I got some Syntec in here. I'll shoot some of that. This red bullet, lipstick bullets. Okay. All right. Yeah, I like this little gun. I do. I know it's totally worthless because it's pistol caliber, right? All right. Rambo would not approve. At least the internet Rambos, right? Because it's a pistol caliber. A lot of internet Rambos out there, aren't there? You probably met a few online. You've seen them. Oh, I got two with one bullet. I didn't even mean to do that. Different sound, that propane tank. Roll him over. Roll him over. Nice. Okay. All right. I have to figure out. I don't know. Like I told you, my the red dot becomes kind of a little figure eight for me, and I have to figure out whether I want the top piece or the bottom piece on the target. Again, if you got any astigmatism at all, red dots can be a little problematic when you get out any distance. But anyway, yeah, pretty cool. I was going to try to put a bullet on the gong. I thought if I could shoot really fast, maybe I could put one, have it going towards the gong, and then pull the trigger again and shoot another one fast enough to maybe pass up the first one. Think that could happen? Never know. Never know. All you have to do is reinvent physics, right? Yeah, the lock back. Yeah. Okay. Oh man. Oh, I do have some advice for young people. Like I said, I'm going to be out a lot of this week, so I'll. Yeah, speaking of that, if there's some big event, I don't know about it today, right? Okay. As I'm speaking to you this weekend, right? On the 11th. But my advice to young people is, are you ready for this? Is to be progressive like I am. Be a progressive, right? Be progressive. Think outside the box. Really be enlightened. Be progressive. And by that, I mean, do something different. Really think. Think for yourself. Don't follow the crowd. Treat people. Get this. This is really going to be a news flash. Be enlightened and treat people based on their character, their integrity, their personality. Okay? Treat people for something with, for their substance. Yeah, who they are, not what they look like. Yeah, something I've always tried to do. Well, I'll say at least since I got into whatever, age 19, 18, 19, 20, you know, as I think I became more, and not that I was totally unenlightened, but as I made an effort to become more enlightened and progressive, I feel like that's been my approach, you know, to treat people for who they are, and not base not even to regard their religion, their race, their sexual preference, any of that. You know, that's all pretty irrelevant in who somebody really is and how I relate to them and what I think of them and my attitude towards them. It is, I take a progressive approach. You know, my attitude towards somebody is based on who they are, how they act, how they treat me. Yeah. Couldn't care less what color somebody is, nationality, ethnicity, sexual preference, any of that kind of stuff, right? Like most of you. You don't really care about that stuff, do you? Yeah, you basically ignore that and probably have for years, right? So that, to me, that's kind of a progressive approach, yeah. And that's progress. You know, if you go back to 1850 or 1900 or whatever year you want to go back to, a lot of people were really maybe not very good at that, or too many were not, right? So I encourage you not to be a bigot and not to look at people's color and their religion and all that kind of thing as you form opinions about them. Now, it could be someone is not going to be your favorite buddy because maybe their religious stance is just totally different from you. And you're not going to enjoy having a coffee with them, maybe, or, you know, spending a lot of time with them. I don't know. Or does it matter? You know. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. None of that matters. None of that really matters. Be progressive like our founders, right? Really ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, because look what they did. They set us up a country that really a new experiment, really, really progressive. A place where we are in charge, a place that's founded on liberty, individual liberty, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They even wrote this document called the Constitution, right? And Bill of Rights that helped codify all that. And, you know, talk about progressive, that's the ultimate. They had some flaws, right? But very, very progressive in most ways. So we need to, you know, follow that example, right? And ignore the some of the differences, you know, between us, unless it matters. Now, you know, and it could matter. Like, I really do not ignore somebody's attitude. I do not ignore their behavior or their character. You know, if somebody has no character or integrity, they might steal from me, and they've proven that, or whatever. Yeah, I don't ignore that. If someone has an obnoxious personality, in my opinion, I reserve the right not to hang out with them at all, and even to not like them much. Yeah, doesn't mean I have to act on the fact I don't like them. It's the way I act on not liking somebody is just stay away from them. I don't need to be around them. I don't like them. There's lots of people in the world, right? So anyway, that's my advice. Base your impressions of people on real things, not superficial things, right? So that's my advice, and I'm sticking to it. I really am. I'm a little too philosophical today. You know what? I see a bullet sticking out of that drum magazine. I probably should empty that, because this is, like, I see a couple down there. Maybe I put more in there than I thought. It looks like there might be 8 or 10. Let's get them out of there. I hate to see a magazine loaded. Don't you? All right. Oh, I almost forget my ears there. All right. If I can see that sight a little better. Maybe I need to turn it down. I don't know. All right. All right, that's better. Where's that hog? I've not hit that hog today, have I? I thought I saw a spark. I guess it was not. It was just a light. We're empty. Okay. That's a good looking rig, isn't it, with that drum? I'll have to say, that's a mean looking rig. I don't know. These little Scorpions are pretty cool. No doubt about it. I like them. I kind of like it. You know, when I did the Scorpion carbine, whatever that was, a couple of years ago, you could probably tell I was fairly fond of that. And I ain't too smart, but I don't forget something that I like. It's just praise on my mind, or at least it's in the back of my mind. That's happened with several firearms where I borrowed one maybe, or we borrowed one from Buds or somebody else or whatever did a video, and just never was able to get it out of my mind. Like that, Swedish Mauser, and there's others I'm not thinking of right now that I was introduced to because of this project that you all recommended them highly so many times that I tried one, and then guess what? I had to own one. Yeah, so that has happened a few times. Tend not to forget about those pleasant firearms that I shoot. Yep. So, I don't know any other lies to tell you. I kept you a long time last week, I think, and I should probably let you go this week. Yeah. So as it comes into fall, I guess a lot of you are that are hunters are gearing up for that, right? And I don't keep up with the game laws, but deer season, squirrel season, I think is open now, right? The squirrel seasons have changed over the year. They're like open all the time, seems like. Deer season, you know, I guess coming up a month or two. I don't know, either bow season or muzzle loading. And that has changed too. I've noticed just from hearing people talk from what it used to be. But you got bow deer season and muzzle loading deer season and just different types of things. There's juvenile hunts and all that kind of thing. Then also it depends on whether you're on a game preserve or not, I think, and what state you're in and all that sort of thing. But you do want to be careful and check all the game laws and regulations. You know, if you are just getting into hunting and know you're doing the right thing, I think, stay legal. But it is getting that time of the year. You can just feel the difference, less humidity, and the leaves are changing a little bit, and they'll be changing a whole lot more before you know it. And nice time to get into the woods, no doubt about that. So I'm in the woods a lot, like every day or so, whatever the season is, because I have trails. You've seen the trails. They're kind of dangerous. Sometimes we bring you along, and we hunt 2 liters and that sort of thing, try to avoid them. But I have a lot of nice trails that I have cut and have maintained. So I can go, you know, walking through the woods anytime. And I don't know, maybe I get exposed to something in these woods that's kept me from catching the bug the last few years. I don't know, I sometimes wonder, you know, if it is something to do with being outside a lot. I don't know, who knows? Again, it could get me tomorrow and I'm gone, but, you know, I was thinking yesterday, my throat was feeling a little funny for some reason, but it passed. I go, wow, I'm going to have to, you know, decide what I'm going to do, because I've not gone through it. Many of you all have. Like, if I start to get a cold coming on, and it really is, you know, then okay, do I need to, go get the big C test to make sure it's not that? Or do I care? You know? Do I care at this point? But because I've not faced that. I've not faced it at all. I guess sometime in 2019, I just don't remember, honestly. Because I will go sometimes a year and not have a cold, maybe even 2 years. But then I may get one every year, sometime during the year, for 4 or 5 years. So I don't remember if I had a cold in 2019. I just don't. I might not have, but I might have. Don't remember. But I know I didn't have one until 2020 because we were SHOT Show. I always know when we're going there. I want to make sure. I'm always hoping I don't get a cold rain before we go. The travel. And then the big one hit there, of course, 2020. We got back, and so everybody's quite attuned to the fact if they got any kind of illness at all, or feeling it at all, And so I haven't had anything the last couple years, and 2.5 years, I guess now. But and then whenever it was in 2019, maybe it's been 3 years. So eventually, I'm not Superman. I'll get a cold, I guess, or the big C. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, unless I get feeling pretty bad, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to. I don't know. I'm going to go through the testing. It's not that much fun anyway. If I get some, I'll stay home. But I don't know. Maybe I will. Don't know. But anyway, trying to stay healthy, and I think that helps. Like I said, I got off on all that. Yeah, maybe there is something. Maybe it's cats. Someone needs to do some more studies, right? Maybe cat owners don't get it. Ooh, wouldn't that be interesting? If somebody did a test, a survey, they figured out that no cat owners have gotten it. Or maybe some have, but nobody that has 2 cats have gotten it. Yeah. Or nobody who has cats and lives in the country has gotten it. Yeah. Or maybe it's just nobody with an IQ under 60 has gotten it. And that, saves me. I don't know. You don't know. I think it can't hurt. Like we know enough about epidemiology and all that now. Surely we've learned that protecting yourself from every germ is not a good thing necessarily. We're a bundle of bacteria and viruses always, inside and out. So a lot of people lost their whatever immunity they had by sterilizing their body and staying in a bubble. Doctors will tell you that. That's not wise. But so I don't know. Maybe it is. I've always said one reason I've not gotten sick much in my life is probably because I ate enough dirt when I was young. The old stories, I drank out of a hose, all that kind of thing. And there's a lot of truth to that. I think. Not encourage anybody to eat dirt. I didn't really eat dirt that I knew of, but rolling in the dirt, playing, climbing trees, all the stuff you do. At least kids used to do. I think it's turned out to be really beneficial. It really does in terms of your immune system because, at my age, I'm supposed to have, I guess, a weaker immune system. So why haven't I gotten anything in 3 years, maybe? That's weird. Maybe it's waiting. That's why I don't brag too much because, this might be the last time you see me, because I got something, I'm gone. So you got to be careful about that, You be careful about that. You don't want to brag about anything that is so random, perhaps. But that's the point. How random is it? Is it what might it be? There's not enough studies on some of that. I think. I don't know. Just maybe someone needs to think outside the box a little bit more and look for some other common denominators that nobody's looking at. I don't know. Anyway. I could probably ramble for 4 hours, you know me. I just spent too many years teaching, I guess. People will tell me, how I talk so long. Yeah, well, I don't know, I had a lot of practice. You can talk a long time and still not say anything, right? Well, there's one thing about teaching, especially middle schoolers or younger people. You do learn that you have to have something to say or do. You know, you cannot have a lot of dead space with young people, anybody, you know, probably right up through. And I've taught seniors and juniors as well, but yeah, you can't have a lot of dead space, you know, and depending on what you're doing, and so, you know, I'm used to carrying on pretty well as long as I need to for whatever the time frame is, and you know, and then letting it go. But anyway, I am going to let you all go because you need to be let go. So, like I said, I'm a little early this week, but I'll catch up on what all's going on and the events and friendship and around. So I talk to you before then again. I don't know. If I do, I probably won't know much about it. Don't know. But anyway, y'all have a great week. Enjoy the changing seasons and the weather. And, you know, like I said last week, you know, if you see me, say hi. By the time I get back from Friendship, I will have seen, you know, some of you up in Indiana and around, I'm sure, Kentucky. And hopefully I was not rude to you, right? If I was, I hope you hit me, because it'd be the first time that I'm aware of I've ever been rude to any of you, right? So I'll talk to you later. Life is good.